Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Fae. Today, I'm alone. Today, I'll be discussing Pokémon Sword Shield, the first Pokemon game of the 8th generation, unofficially, technically. That's an unofficial terminology. And the second game to premiere on the Nintendo, the second Pokemon game to premiere on the Nintendo Switch. The first one being Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which I am unsure if I will go back to Gen 7. I had to start with Gen 8 because it's a very sure way of starting, because we're not hopping around stuff, and I also don't have Let's Go Pikachu. So it's not like I could make an episode on just Let's Go Eevee, but I don't know. I would like to review both. But I have played both Pokemon Sword and Shield. And, this episode was announced all the way back in Media Buffet Presents. That was originally going to be coming. That was originally announced for 2022. This episode has been in the works for 2 years. I had to make this episode because I realized it. I could make an episode on Let's Go Page and Let's Go Eevee because they're both the same game, and I'm gonna do the same for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But anyways, I'm unsure if I really want to go back. The reason why I don't know if I mentioned this, but the reason why we don't go back to video games, if I own a video game, I'll definitely go back to reviewing whatever it is. But for games, especially like Pokemon, we're definitely not gonna go all the way back to Gen 1. Even if I can, I have Gen 1 on my 3DS virtual console. I can go play it. Same thing with Gen 2. Gen 3 is a different story. There's no, and Gen 4 as well, and Gen 5. There are no commercially available ways to play those games or get those games. Which I do have Gen 6, Gen 7, most of Gen 7. Legit 90 legitimately 66% of Gen 7 is unpurchasable, non-purchasable. So yeah, but that's beside the point. If I ever want to go back, I'll do it. But the thing is, why we don't do this for games is because games are a bigger monetary investment and time investment than movies and shows. For example, shows and movies. I can watch a movie from 1954. Just throw a number out there. I can watch a movie from all the way back then in pretty good definition. It's been stored. It's been cataloged. It's been made sure to be viewable for the next fucking 100 years, right? After it came out, at least. With games, it's a different story because games have they have consoles they're made for, and then obviously those consoles lose support, and those games for people to actually have to play those games, you have to port them, so you have to do more time, and it takes more time, and sometimes it just isn't worth it. So some video games are stuck on consoles. At least for this current generation, there's backwards compatibility. So for example, all those video games that came out for PS4, in the case of the PS5, you can play all those games. And for example, the Xbox Series X and S can play every single Xbox game out there. So it's not like it's not like there aren't ways to play them. It's just that there's not many ways to actually get those video games. And if there is, especially in Pokemon's case, These video games go up for quite a few, quite a few, $100 maybe. For example, like if I can look up Soul Silver right now, and it could cost me upwards of $250. Like it's it's way better to get them through other methods. Like I can, no, I guess just eBay. Sure. Let's see. Yeah, no, around the same price I said, over $200 to buy Soul Silver. Let's just look through here. Why not? 250 with Y. And okay, whatever. $100 for just the cartridge. $60 for, I don't even know. Oh wait, $6 without the game. So fuck you in that case. Again, the game for $146. The game. This is the best price I've seen all day. It's $56. $91 for Soul Silver and Black and White 2. Like, okay, yeah, this is box without the game. Okay. You know, like, this is just, it's ridiculous prices for, like, the box. The box is $35. The box is almost worth as much as the game itself, because, like, Nintendo 2DS games, even back then, were probably, like, I remember the 3DS era of Pokemon. They cost $40. Like, that's still quite a bit of money, but it was like commercially available. I don't even know. Look at what X and Y cost now. I luckily I have these games with me. But yeah, no, like what I was trying to say is that video games are much more of a monetary investment and much more of a time investment than movies, and also you have to buy a console to play them on. So it's not exactly it's not exactly viable for me to like go back to play all these other games. I'll go back if I can, and if I want to, but definitely not mandatory. Unlike what I do with movies, sort of catch myself up on stuff. Like for example, we're gonna do the Venom Last Dance episode later in the year, and we haven't done the Venom one, and I wanna review Venom. That's more content for me. And more content for the podcast, so why not? Might as well do that. But with video games, it's a bit of a harder. It's a bit of a harder process. It's a bit, yeah. That's the best way I can put it. It's a bit of a harder process to actually get those video game reviews out. But yeah. And if I can do it, I will do it. But don't expect us to go back to those games. But anyways. Kind of going with what I was saying with the pricing. So this is the first Pokemon game to not only it's not the first $6 game, because again that was Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but it is the first time like a main Pokemon game was released on Nintendo Switch. It was the first like big one. It is one of the biggest Nintendo Switch games of all time, and closely follows the original Pokemon game. The original Pokemon game. Of course, a lot of people think that Pokemon kind of stayed in the 90s, but even like it really hasn't. Pokemon is still. It's one of the biggest franchises. It's the biggest franchise of all time. So it stays that way, and like So it has stayed in that in that way. I saw like a recent not a graph, but like some statistics, and it says that Pokemon is worth 100. It has made $140 billion in sales, and that is and that and that amount of like money is is every is the amount is the total amount of the next like five big franchises added up, and they make a little bit more than Pokemon does, and they've made a little bit more. Like Mario's made $33 billion in sales, like in all that stuff, and Pokemon with a lot of revenue sources has made more than like the next five entries in that list. It is genuinely kind of insane. But yeah, Pokemon is big. It's still a big thing, and it's something that like I mentioned, people still, like a lot of people probably still think that Pokemon was a thing in the 90s because Pokemon got big in the 90s, and that's why the original game is that's why the original game is like so big, and why it made so why it sold so many copies. It's kind of incredible to really think about it in that in that sense. But yeah, here we go. The first the first game sold 31 million copies, which is pretty good by even today's standards. Is a pretty good amount of copies. It's not the best game, but it is a pretty. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good game. Like it's a pretty good like starting point. Like again, like I said, got big in the 90s, and that's just that's just where it stayed, really. Like a lot of people probably still think it's a 90s thing because there was the cards, the anime, the games. Yeah, Gold and Silver came out. That was pretty big. On new Pokemon, a lot of people who grew up in the 90s probably know at least one Pokemon from the 151. That's how many Pokemon there are in their brains. 151. There aren't the actual amount of Pokemon that there are currently, which is 1,025. We have since multiplied that by 10. I don't know what that is. I don't know what double trip. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. It might be. Let me check that real quick. Apply by. Shit! I might just turn off my computer. Motherfucker! I turned off my computer. Give me a second. Okay. Computer's back up. So yeah, I looked it up and I forgot that tenfold was a word. So yeah, we've increased the Pokemon count by tenfold at this point. Like it's not even a fucking competition. You're just a lot of people just a lot of people remember the original 151, and maybe they know by memory, maybe they don't, maybe they know like a few. And they just kind of stay there. But yeah, 151. Maybe they know Gen 2. They definitely don't know anything beside that. Like that is 8. That's all they know. And so just kind of getting back into it, like Pokemon Sword and Shield really brought back Pokemon into the mainframe of the public eye. Still, I know it was like very big, anyways. But the thing is that the actual games themselves, if you look at the Nintendo 3DS ones, they didn't sell as well as Sword and Shield or even Scarlet and Violet did. But we will talk about Scarlet and Violet when we get to Scarlet and Violet. but just yeah, we'll get there when we get there. We still have a few. I want to cover all of Gen 8. We'll cover all of Gen 9. We did make this episode, so we will have some more Pokemon reviews in the works. After this one, we won't be jumping straight into Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. We will be making the expansion pass episode. So yeah, I'm doing them both in the same. I'm doing them both at the same time, like just in the same episode, because you can't buy one without the other, so it doesn't really make any sense. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, no. Sword and Shield definitely put Pokemon back in the radar. If you just, again, I was gonna say, if you just look at the sales numbers from 3DS, and even just like in general after Gold and Silver, which sold around like a little bit more than Scarlet and Violet did. Like you can see that it wasn't exactly the best. Just some quick rundown. Crystal sold 6 million copies, which is the lowest for the franchise. Ruby and Sapphire sold 16 million. Fire Red Leaf Green 12. Emerald 6. Actually no, Emerald is the lowest. Is the lowest for the franchise. Diamond and Pearl 17. Platinum 7. Hard Gold and Silver 12. Black and White 15. Black 2 and White 2 sold 7 million copies. Not 7 copies, 7 million. I'm talking in millions. X and Y 16 million. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire 14 million. Sun and Moon 16. Ultra Sun and Moon 8. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee 15. Yeah, even Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, which was the first Nintendo Switch game, the Pokemon Nintendo Switch game, didn't meet the sales that eventually Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet would get to. And even then, the games in between, they sold around the same. Like, around the same thing that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did. I will get to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and I will talk about them later. Like, not like later here, but later in the podcast. But yeah. So, I just Pokemon Sword and Shield put Pokemon not back on the radar because they were still pretty big, but definitely reminded that Pokemon was still, like, a lot of people, that Pokemon was still kicking, and it was still going, and it was bad. It was like, it was bigger. It was on a bigger console, and So, how did it fare? I know we're 20 minutes into the episode, and I've been fucking ranting. And not ranting, but I've been just fucking like yapping about nothing, about like sales figures and how the franchise was perceived and how it was like a 90s thing. So what the fuck is the point I'm getting at? So yeah, how did Pokemon Sword and Shield fare as the first game to usher in this new era of Pokemon, where now they have all this new technology that they can work with in a bigger console, on a bigger scale than they ever have 2DS with the handhelds. Again, Switch is a handheld console, but they have the advantage of being able to play on the TV and have a lot more storage and have more power, in quotation marks. So, where did Sword and Shield land, and how did it land? And this is what I am here to talk about. Originally, I think I mentioned at the start, I don't know. Originally, this episode was going to be a lot more people. Originally, again, announced two years ago, people lost interest in being in this episode, so we just left. So this episode was meant to be a lot bigger. But here I am, the one talking about it, and I kind of knew that we will eventually make the expansion pass episode. And I kind of knew that I would be the only one there, but it's not. I did not expect to be the only one here. This went down from 5 people, which used to be our max, thanks to Anchor, which isn't real now, and it went back down to 1, which is this guy right here. You're probably sick of hearing my fucking voice, but you're stuck with me for a good bit, for a very good bit. You're just stuck with this guy. So, let's just get straight into the actual discussion of the game. I don't know how, I have something planned for the episode in the latter half. not the latter half. Maybe it'll become the latter half. I don't fucking know. But I have something planned, and I will explain what that will be when we get there. So yeah, let's start off with what I always decide to start off with in these type of things. With games, I probably will have to change around the discussion, like how I discuss things around. Like I will like change it and stuff. So we'll see how it all works. But we're here and we're gonna talk about it. So whatever. So yeah, like out of games I'll do that. But with movies I'll probably stick with the same formula. It's allowed me to be just kind of get stuff done. But yeah, games probably will change, but this will never change. Let's talk about the graphics. So this might be the fucking ugliest game we've ever talked about on the podcast. We've talked about quite a few games on the podcast. I will not deny that, and I think that this game is probably the ugliest one. So I think the only other Switch game we ever covered, at least that was a Switch game for a good bit, was Monster Hunter Rise, and that one looks a lot better than any of the Pokemon games that we have right now. I have the general I have this general just opinion that I think that all of the Pokemon games that have been coming out since its release since Let's Go Pikachu and Squeevy, which, you know, yeah, like that was the first Pokemon Nintendo Switch game, have been looking worse in graphics. And the only one that I really say is an improvement would be Lance Arceus, but we'll get to Lance Arceus when we get to it. I don't think that one looks bad at all. But Sword and Shield, they have their hiccup. It has its hiccups. So obviously, it's a fucking Pokemon game. We're not going to expect great graphics. We're not expecting that. We're not like Monster Hunter Rise or like stuff like Xenoblade. Like those things run on the console and they look good on Nintendo Switch. It obviously looks better on, for example, the PlayStation or the or you know, on PC. That obviously look better, and I won't deny that because it is right. But those games still look good on just Nintendo Switch. The Pokemon games I've always had like a style to them, and I'm not exactly bashing them for that. And they decided to transfer over the style to Nintendo Switch. Does it look particularly good? Depends. Okay, so obviously we have to address the elephant in the room that Sword and Shield tried to play around with open world, with the wild area. It wasn't all that, but definitely did try to play around with it. So where does it land? Well, it still has like the routes. It still has like routes and stuff. It's the last game, like not non-remake game to have routes in it. So yeah, like it still has that. And whenever we're in the routes, the game looks good. The game looks like a pretty vibrant Pokemon game. A lot of the things I have to like, a lot of the problems I kind of had with the 3DS games is that they look kind of pale. They look kind of washed out sometimes. Like some of the greens don't look as vibrant. And guess what? Sword and Shield, I think that in the roots, the colors pop. They really do. Admittedly, I've played quite a bit of Sword and Shield. I haven't played it recently. I don't know when my last save on Sword and Shield was. I did Shiny Hunt on Sword and Shield. Like for a while, I did. But yeah, I haven't played it recently, but I played it quite a bit. It is my most played game of all time, currently with 900 hours. So I think I have the qualifications to talk about it. And sure, it's been fucking 5 years since the game came out. So yeah, when we were gonna reboot was 3, which makes, you know, if you can do math, you probably figure that out. But yeah, so the graph, so like so again, like it's in the routes, it's vibrant. The colors pop. It looks good. Like in the routes, it looks good, and the Pokemon also look really good out there. In the wild area, it's a fucking different story. In the wild area, there are trees that look straight out of 64. I will not deny that. The weather effects look god awful. The ground is low res. And like it's actually also kind of washed out sometimes. Like when it's sunny, it's fine, I think, but I don't know. Just it's like sometimes the colors don't look as vibrant as they do in the routes. Like maybe just me. I don't know. It makes no full sense to me. Like the wild area just doesn't look as good as what the other parts of the game look like. And guess what? The other parts of the game do fit in, unlike a certain other game that we'll talk about later. Like the Pokemon in the overworld and in like the routes and stuff, and sometimes in the wild area when it's sunny out, they fit in with the rest of the world. Like that just is how the fucking game works. That's just how the game looks. They look fine in there, and the style transferred over well. I don't know why they fucking changed it for Scarlet and Violet, but it worked. Like the style that they went with, that they had for Pokemon, and decided to transfer it over to the Switch games, it worked. It obviously wasn't the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee style, but Sword and Shield did have like the traditional Pokemon style at the time, and I guess for the remainder of Gen 8. So yeah, like it had that character art style, and the Pokemon art style didn't change that much in Gen 9. I'll again talk about it when we get to Gen 9, but like it stuck to what the 3DS to what the 3DS era had, and I think it looks good, but the wild area is a bit rough, and that's just the biggest thing. Right? The wild area is just very, very rough. So yeah, let's move on to the gameplay, and I want obviously Pokemon. I gotta mention this. Pokemon is like the most bare bones RPG of like all time. Like it hasn't changed much. So to give a quick rundown, and I will never talk about the gameplay of Pokemon ever again. You send out a creature. There's the whole like type table stuff in there, and like the items and stuff, and you press a move and you kill things. You just wipe them out. Sometimes you have to think about stuff, and that's cool and all, but that's not like that. It's been the exact same combat, the exact same like battle system for the last almost 30 years. So I am not gonna cover it. Simply put, it is bare bones, but it works. What they add onto that gameplay system is what makes it special. So I'm just going to get straight into that, because the gameplay, again, it's an RPG. It's not like, for example, Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn that we reviewed earlier in the month, or not earlier in the month, earlier in the year, I think. Yeah, earlier in the year. And it's not like It's not like Miles Morales, which we also reviewed earlier in the year. In October, to be more specific. We reviewed in October, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken. We reviewed it in October. Or maybe it was like early November. I have no fucking idea. Time passes too fast for me. That is my channel, not the entertainment channel. Hey, if you guys want to check out, I can't find it. Just don't do anything. Leave me alone. I'm kidding, no. Check. Yeah, those episodes came out in October. So yeah, in October. Guys, please watch the fucking Kraven the Hunter trailer 2 discussion episode. It has 0 views. Whoever watches this episode, please go watch that. I don't know. I don't know who fucking came here to listen to me to have them like be promoted a fucking Kraven the Hunter trailer, but please watch it. Please watch that episode. It has 0 views. But yeah. The gameplay. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the gameplay. I will talk about the gameplay I don't know. I'll talk about it a little bit more than Arceus, but just remember, just saying it here, the gameplay is just like the core gameplay is just the exact same as every other Pokemon game out there. That's just it. So yeah, let's talk about the big gimmick of the game. Dynamax. So you make your Pokemon big. Yeah. So I am not a competitive player. I can't speak for competitive play. I can't. I cannot speak for competitive players in the Pokemon scene. Just simply cannot. It is simple as that. I know Dynamax, and I know Dynamax had its viabilities. For example, early, very early on, there was a strategy to have like a Whimsicott and hit a Dynamax Lucario, which had Steadfast. It was keep flinching it, and Steadfast, what it does is that it powers up. I think it's attack. No, Steadfast is like evasion or some shit. Pokemon Steadfast. Speed stat, right? And there was it's increased its speed stat, so it just kept doing a lot of, and I think so it just kept doing a lot of attacks and like very powerful attacks quicker than the opponent. Let me check. Sword and Shield, Lucario, and Whimsicott. There we go. Oh, Justified Lucario. Beat up. Right, okay. What is this? Okay. Jolly Lucario, whatever, I know what this means. I'm not gonna fucking like do much on that, but Justified. Beat up, basically what Beat Up does is that Beat Up is a dark type move that hits as many as 6 times. It hits it's a multi-hit move, but it's only multi-hit depending on how many Pokemon are in your party. So so yeah, like that's just it hits. So you have 6. If you have 6 members, it does 6 hits. If you have 5, it does 5 in that sense. And Justified, the ability, what it does is that Justified, it raises attack every time a Pokemon is hit by a dark type move. So you Dynamax Lucario, you get a Whimsicott, Beat Up, you hit the Lucario 6 times, or no, I think it's like 3. Depending on, I don't know, it depends. It's double, so I think it's 4. So it hits 4 times. So that's times 4 attack, and you just you fucking hit everything. Because I think Dynamax moves, if you like hit it toward normal sized Pokemon, it does like widespread damage. I think, I don't know. But yeah, and obviously that's a bigger advantage. So it isn't steadfast, but it is like, but it's a very that is a strategy that you can use, the competitive strategy that was used in Pokemon in Pokemon Sword Shield. I know that. I didn't know the complete strategy, but I didn't know it. So yeah. See, Dynamax has its uses in competitive, and I know that, but I'm gonna talk about it as a normal thing. And how it is I just make your Pokemon big, and it does big moves for big damage. Gigantamax is a bit different, and I'll talk about that just a little later. I'll talk about it soon. Basically, Dynamax just kind of if anyone to fucking play this game. Honestly, I don't fucking know. I'm doing this episode to just kind of get it over with. But like, if you played any of these games, basically what Dynamax does is that it turns every single move of a single type into a specific max move. I think, like for example, all the fire type moves that aren't status moves get turned into max flare. And for example, depending on the power, the power of the move, when it gets into being Dynamax, it's much more powerful. Like for example, an Ember that gets turned into max flare isn't going to do as much damage as a flamethrower that gets turned into max flare. And yeah, like it's a cool concept at first, and it has its uses. But I think that it's kind of limiting in a certain sense, because you're basically going in there, and maybe you have like obviously not. I guess some people like me who only run attack moves and only need to run attack moves. If you were going to the Dynamax, then sure. I don't like to repeat type moves, so I'll have quite a big variety of Dynamax, like max moves I can use. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So yeah, no, so sometimes, like for example, every single status move, doesn't matter what type it is, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much power. It just doesn't matter what it does. Every single one of them will turn into Max Guard, which is a big shield that blocks all damage. Doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. It blocks all damage from anywhere, and you can, if you do Max Guard, and like if you do Max Guard and you're in a double battle, then it's protect. It's gigantic protect that works. That can protect you against max moves, because no protect can't. So yeah. Anyways, Dynamax is, at least it was an interesting concept on paper. The thing is that Dynamax is just kind of be big, do big damage. That's like, if you're just playing casually, that's really all you can do. And the thing is that unlike, for example, I guess let's just, instead of going forward into time and talk about Scarlet Violet and how it does that, let's move backwards. Unlike Mega Evolution and Z moves, you can't use it whenever you want. Dynamax is very much restricted to max raid battles or gym leader battles, or specific occasions, such as, for example, Chairman Rose's battle in like when you fight him, or for example, Oleana's battle when you fight her. Like, there are specific circumstances where you can Dynamax. It isn't just everywhere. You can't Dynamax everywhere. So, and for most of the time, you are actually just playing the game like a normal ass Pokemon game, and that's something that I think there's quite a bit of people, and that's why Dynamax isn't as loved. I think Z moves, I think, is definitely the worst one because it's kind of like meh. But Dynamax is a close second because Dynamax, just like just doesn't really do much. Like you can't use it as much, and it doesn't really do much. So Dynamax isn't the best. It isn't the best gimmick that they've come up with, conceptually, and obviously they can't really do it as good as they can't do it everywhere because you can't grow big Pokemon and everywhere. But I feel like the gimmick suffers because it just kind of becomes forgettable. That's really what the gimmick is. It's just a forgettable gimmick that is used sometimes during the game. Yeah, I mentioned max raid battles, so let's talk about max raid battles for a little bit. Max raid battles are the first time that Pokemon actually done like raids, and they're okay, I guess. The thing is with max raid battles is that they can get a bit bullshit because your opponent, they can put up shields, and those shields you have to do. It's a bit more manageable than later in the series, but just let's keep it here. The shields you do one attack, you get rid of 1 bar of the shield, and that's just kind of there. And if you do a max move, you get rid of 2. No wait, if you do a max move, then I think you do 1. But if you do a super effective move, you do 2. I mean, I don't fucking know. I think it's 2 for every max move. And then if you do a super effective move, it does a lot more damage to like behind the bar, because the thing is, you do very little damage to the actual, like, you still do damage, but you do very, very little. But you do knock down some of the shield bars. And if you do super effective hit, you do quite a bit more damage to the actual health of the boss. But yeah, max raid battles just are kind of boring sometimes. Most of the times. What I do like about max raid battles is I decided to make events around them, and they made it actually kind of fun. A little exploit that the game has for all of you listening is that when the game usually had sometimes, not sometimes, but when the game was getting updated quite a bit, when the game was getting updated, max raid events happened every so often, and sometimes they got a bit interesting. Sometimes they put in higher chances for a shiny Pokemon. This first happened in a Magikarp event, where a shiny Magikarp could spawn. This was during New Year's. I think it got up to 10%. I think 10%. You can find a shiny Magikarp in Pacific raid, in event raids. They weren't always gonna spawn, but when you did get to spawn, you would. I think it's you placed a wishing piece, which is a thing you used. So okay, for tell you couldn't always get it. So just kind of put the thing, just put more content into it. You did a raid, you got in there. And if it wasn't what you were looking for, if it wasn't the shiny, you went to look for another raid that did have a shiny. It was usually like in the 5-star raids, which are the biggest raids that there were, the hardest ones. And what happened there was that for event raids, there's a little exploit where if you use a wishing piece, which is an item that you use on raid dens, which is where the raids spawn, and you put it there, and that summons a random raid. Well, you would do that, and you would look for, like, there were empty ones, or you would complete a raid or something, and you drop a wishing piece, and you see if it's an event, max raid battle, or like a raid, if it's an event raid. And if it's not, then you fucking move forward. Or you save before you throw the wishing piece in there. And then because it was fucking random, you could do that. But you save there. If it's not, reload the game before you put it in there. And put it in there again. Until you get an event rate. Then, for example, Magic Guard 5 stars. I don't think it was 5 stars. To put it into better perspective, there was a Wailord. The next one after was a Wailord one. So then that was, I know that one was 5 stars. So anyways, let's use the Wailord for example. It was only found in 5-star raids at a 2%. So Wailord, Shiny Wailord, moving the fucking topic from there. Shiny Wailord was found at a 2% chance in 5-star Wailord raids. The Shiny Wailord 5-star raid only spawned 2% of the time, and it wasn't the only Wailord 5-star raid. There was also normal Wailord, so in 5-star raids in the event 5-star raids. So, what did you do? Like, you went in there, you pressed in there, and when you saw that it was an event one, you could usually tell about what Pokemon there are and like what Pokemon usually spawn in the raid den, because the raid dens vary between area and different Pokemon can spawn in different raid dens. So you look at it and you look at the Pokemon are from that event. You save the game, and then you go into the raid den. When it's not the Pokemon that you want, what you do is that you hit invite others, then you press home, go to your system settings, and change the day to 1 day ahead of your day. And when you go back in there, you back down, you get out of the raid. It will have re-rolled, but it will stay there because you used a wishing piece. That isn't a naturally occurring raid, and obviously it wouldn't go away because you used an item on it. It was a thing that you summoned. So you did that, and it would have re-rolled. And what it did is that it re-rolled the Pokemon. So in this case, you only use one wishing piece, and then what you did is that you eventually just cycle through until you found a 5-star Wailord. And if it wasn't, and you went in there, and if it wasn't shiny, you did the same thing. You backed down and you kept cycling. But you saved before getting to the raid. I don't remember that, but you saved before getting into that 5-star Wailord raid, in case it's the actual shiny. But if it wasn't, you then did the same thing. You just went back, you just closed the game, and just did the exact same thing. Close the game, go back in there, and now that you know it's not, you just keep doing the same thing until you find the shiny. And it worked. It took quite a bit, but it did work. So yeah, that was a big ramble how people exploited match rate events to get shinies. And I did those for most of them. I didn't participate in a lot of them, but I did participate in most of them that came out, and they were really fun. That was a really fun way, and I didn't really get accustomed to doing match rate events, but god damn it if they weren't boring. Let me tell you, it was just the same thing over and over again. And by then my Pokemon level 100, so I could easily take down all of those bosses. When the game came out, 5-star raids were almost impossible. But now, like, people like me got level 100 Pokemon, just fucking went in there and obliterated those things. Like, it was not getting those shinies was not very hard. But yeah, match rate events were fun, but the actual match rate battles, they weren't exactly the best. So speaking of match rate battles and where you found them, the only way you could find the raid dens was in the wild area. So let's talk about the wild area for a little bit. And this is the biggest addition that the game has, really. So obviously, the wild area is their first step into an open world Pokemon game. So what does that look like? I don't want to know the graphics. So let's say what this looks like. And to be honest, not talking about the expansion pass, which did elaborate, but it did expand on the idea. The wild area is kind of disappointing. So it's split into two sections. We have the Motostoke section, which is into the city of the Motostoke, and then the Hammerlock section, which Hammerlock. Come on. But yeah, it got split in two, and both areas look the exact same. Only one's a bit tougher, and one can spawn, and the other one can spawn like a lot more tougher Pokemon. It was the only way to get Dreepy, which is this game's pseudo legendary. So yeah, like the wild area is good in concept, but again, it doesn't look the best, and it just kind of looks the exact same at every point. There isn't much variety. Sure, there's like a lake in the first area. That's not really there in the second area. In the second area, there's like a little dry patch. It's a little drier there for no reason. Um, like like it's not even like connected to the actual area, which is also dry. There isn't like an actual desert here. Technically, there's like some dry land, some bad lands, but I don't know. If that's really I don't think that's really all that much in like how England is. Which I'll talk about the Gala region later. But yeah, the wild area kind of doesn't look good. It's not very interesting. It has some actually, I think, cool additions. For example, you can get, for example, some of the items let you get Pokemon early. Like you can get a Thunderstone there and get like a Jolteon or a I think like a Vikavolt early. But yeah, I think I should have mentioned the Pokemon like what Pokemon are in here. But the thing is, I don't want to do that because there are 400 Pokemon. It's not like Monster Hunter where I can like, oh yeah, this Monster Hunter roster was good. But no, like for Pokemon, Sword and Shield, just to kind of talk about the Pokemon here because I will be doing something else with the Pokemon later. But the Pokemon roster of returning Pokemon, I feel like it has a lot of cool thing, like a lot of ones that make sense to bring back. They were fan favorites. They were just really liked by a lot of people. Some of them were a bit weird, like Mamoswine is brought back. I think no, Kragano was Crown Tundra. Some of them was kind of weird. Fuck, what was the Pokemon that she's fucking weirdo? So that got brought back. Flygon was pretty liked by the public. I know that. Oh yeah, like Charizard was brought back. Now that was the only other star that was brought back. Fucking Noivern was pretty liked. I think about weirdo that got brought back. It's like a weird ass Pokemon that is like, who the fuck thought of you? Gastrodon. I mean, a lot of people did like Gastrodon. Shuckle got brought back. I'm pretty sure that was that was base game. Having a hard time thinking of a fucking like of just a random ass one that just got brought back for no reason. Again, I think the roster is pretty cool. It's not full of like weird choices. I think it's filled with a lot of like Pokemon that like people like, and some of them maybe not so much. I'm not gonna remember all 400 Pokemon that got into this fucking game, but I think the Pokemon roster was pretty good, and obviously like, most of them were in the wild area. But yeah, no, don't go in there. The wild area is a good concept, but kind of poor execution. It was just not what it needed to be. Yeah, let's talk about the plot for the game. This will probably not take long because it's fucking Pokemon. Nobody cares about the plot and nobody reads. But yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. So so obviously starting with the Galar region, just kind of making the plot. Starting the plot there. The Galar region isn't part of the plot, but I want to talk about it anyways. I feel like it's England fucking upside down. Obviously, that become more apparent with Crown Tundra and like it's England flipped. It's flipped. To its side, it's like it's flipped to be opposite of how it is in real life, and then flip upside down. So yeah, that's what the Galar region is, and obviously it's because on England. I think that a lot of Pokemon, like sure, some of them do fit England, but some of them are like, what the fuck are you doing here? I don't think England has monkeys, or a lot of like very big variety. It had I'll talk about Sarude later again, expansion, but yeah, Um, um, yeah, like the Galar region is fun a little. I would have liked to explore it a little bit more. I think the cities are a bit too small for my liking. Winden is fine. Hammerlock, I don't know. I think Hammerlock's a bit too small. Hammerlock is fucking unimpressive as shit. And that actual city has nothing for it. I think some of the other little castles. I think the where Bao and Leia is. I forgot their name. I forgot the fucking wood's name or like whatever it's called. But I think that's a very interesting location. The Badlands that the fighting type of ghost type gym leader have. I think that's kind of cool. That's right English. I do recognize that. The thing that's very English is that there are no fucking beaches and it's all cold, and the only beach there is a cold ass beach. It's full of fucking glaciers. So yeah, there's that. It's a lot more like it's not. It's a lot more like a temperate like biome that's in there. It's not very. It's not very like tropical. But like it still fits. Like it's still kind of looks like England, but sometimes it doesn't really. I don't know. Like it's fine. I think it's just like it's finely constructed, but I feel like sometimes some things are a bit missing. Isn't half for me? It doesn't have a lot of that wonder that some of the other regions have. That, for example, Sun and Moon had like the gigantic city or like the town. Po Town, right? Po Town. Where it was like with walls and shit, and they had like world like story in there. But a lot of the locations in Sword and Shield don't have that within the Galar region. But the only one I can think of is like the area where we find Sasha and Samazenta. That's really it. For like locations that have some sort of world building and maybe the cutout of G-Max toxicity that we see. That we see there. So yeah, not particularly interesting to say the least. But it's still, I think it's still England. And hey, it's just like okay. The thing is that like for me, the biggest thing is that okay, Stonejourner is like Stonehenge, but there's no like fucking Stonehenge. Are you kidding me? There's no Stonehenge. There's no like castles or anything. It's like just it's Hammerlock, which is a castle, but like it doesn't really make. I don't know. It's not very. I don't know. I don't like it. And Winden is fine. I don't know. I don't vibe with the God regional that much. It's just kind of there. Let's talk about the story. The story. What fucking story? You go around doing stuff. You find Team Yell and beat up those guys. You find out they're good guys. And the actual story is that apparently Galar is gonna run out of energy in a thousand years, and Chairman Rose is like, that cannot happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna awaken this ancient evil from outer space to make sure that the region doesn't run out of energy. And that is the stupidest plot. And again, the plot isn't like built upon anything. You find Chairman Rose a few times. Most of the plot is actually you going to fight gym leaders, and that's fine because the whole thing is about not the gym challenge. That's not what it's called. But like but like I think this one's actually the one with the gym challenge. I don't fucking remember. But like you. But like fucking what is it? But that's just what kind of the plot is. You go around and you fight gym leaders until something happens. And it's not like the other games didn't have this as well. The thing is like the other games had detours to help you like to at least give context to the story. This game didn't have that at all. This game just gives you the story. Bam! There, at the very end. There was no build-up whatsoever. sometimes there was some build up because sometimes the like for example as a battle with Bede, I think to with like, at whatever at the Badlands town thing, and that was like really where it ended. Like that's where like the plot really ended, and it went somewhere else, and it was mostly about like finding like legends, but like that didn't matter because the actual Sergeant Samazenta didn't really do much. I don't remember why we even brought in the weapons, like the rusted sword and rusted shield in the story. We just kind of found them. Oh no, wait, I think we took I think we took the things from way like way in the like, first in the story, or maybe like we went back to them. I don't fucking remember. I really don't. Again, been fucking 3 years since I've not 3 years, like 5 years since I've played this goddamn game. I'm not gonna fucking remember. I have no like intention of replaying Sword and Shield to find out. I can look it up, but I'm not going to. Just giving more credence to the story to the thing that Pokemon fans don't know how to read, and we don't really care because the story's kind of bad anyways. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, the story is just kind of awful. It's just really, really not good because it just kind of starts somewhere, and it would have been fine if it was about like, oh, find the legends. But the thing is that Sasha and Samacenta have nothing to do with the plot until the very end, where we find out that the Darkest Day, and he wants to start Darkest Day and all that shit. Like, I think okay, fine, but that was all the way back in the fucking end of it all. It's not like you're finding stuff about like legends and shit. That's mostly like, sprinkled in there, and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe you find that stuff in there, yeah. Yeah, the story isn't actually very good, and Rose is a stupid ass villain. And the only time, naturally, what I do like about the story is that they bring in both legendaries. It's Sashin and Zamazenta. That's what I do like. Like it doesn't really, it doesn't ignore the other's existence. But how you actually get Sashin and Zamazenta is fucking stupid. You have to fight Shieldbird and Swordbird, or whatever the hell their names are. I don't remember it, but they have like the weird ass. They have the hairdos, and one of them looks like a fucking penis. Swordbird, or whatever his name is, and and you have to go through all of this like fucking hoopla. Them like going throughout the gym, sabotaging them. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It sucks. I hate it. So yeah, that's just how I feel. Really, it's so bizarre, and I don't like it. I did not like the story for this game one bit. Yeah, there are parts I do like. I like that you catch Eternatus, which is the main big bad, that's Darkest Day and shit. Before you get Sasha Samacenta, that's actually I think a very good thing, and it's actually part of the plot. Like it turns out it's part of the plot. I think that's very cool. But yeah, this plot isn't it. It's I think the weakest plot line from the Switch games, from the Pokemon Nintendo Switch games. So it's just not very good. Something I do like are the characters of this game, because they actually kind of make you not like appreciate what they tried to do with the characters. Like for example, Hop just wants to prove himself. Hop just wants to prove himself. He wants to be the next champion, and he kind of crushes dreams. But he learns to be a better trainer because of it. I think that's very cool. Having this rival where you can feel sympathy for him, and not just kind of like have him just kind of fucking you just beat him. That's it. And another one like Marnie. I forgot like having her brother be so supportive of her to start Team Yell, and they're kind of obsessed fans, and having like this like talk with her brother and stuff. I think that's also like very cool. And Pierce is a very cool character. That's mostly why I said like, he's a very caring brother. That's not really what we expected from like the supposed evil team. The actual evil team, Macrocosmos, sucks ass though. I didn't even know they were part of the game. I was like, what the fuck do you mean, Macrocosmos? Who the fuck are these guys? Beat has an interesting story with him not like being an orphan and kind of being used by Rose, since one of the guys that he took him in, and giving a second shot with Opal, making him the fairy type gym leader. I think that's very cool. Very like, every single one of the rivals has a very cool storyline behind them, and I do kind of appreciate the characters because of that. I think that's very cool, and also the grown up characters, Leon, Sonia, and like and others like Pierce. It's all about like leaving stuff behind. And for example, Sonia, like the actual Professor Magnolia is like retiring pretty much, and Sonia is taking her place. Leon, he's the undefeatable champion, but that's all. But you know, we took his we took his place, pretty much, as champion, and now he's doing some other stuff with like the Battle Tower, which is the last time fucking Battle Tower was in the mainline game. It was on like a main Pokemon game. No wait, like I think yeah. Lens Arceus has a similar system. I'm pretty sure. Like not the exact same thing, but something similar. And obviously, Breathe Down Shining Pearl had it as well. So, you know, I think the characters are interesting, having this like theme having the theme of just kind of like giving making having the new generation take the spot of the old, and like and replace them, and leading their legacy, like living their legacy and stuff, and you know, being, you know, just like continuing the roles and all that. That's very like a very cool thing, and kind of symbolizes what the Pokemon series is going at the time, going into a new era and stuff, and that's very cool. But too bad that the actual like those just part of the characters and not the actual plot. So yeah, the plot just kind of sucks. So that's all I say about the actual game. But I have one more thing. I have not talked about the Pokemon yet, or even the new ones, and that's, well, because I am going to be doing a tier list of all the Pokemon. So yeah, you will be seeing. So hopefully, if all goes well and the recording isn't absolute dog ass, on the screen you will be seeing a recording of my tier list. So if it's not choppy at all, I'll probably still have it if it's choppy. But if it's not, hopefully it's not choppy. You will be seeing that I have a lot of the that I have the expansion pass and actually Lance Arceus stuff on here, and that is not because I'm gonna ranking it here. I'm only gonna be ranking stuff from the base game of Sword and Shield. So that is the 96 new Pokemon forms that are gonna be in here. I will be ranking the other stuff when we get to them. But you know, that's all I have to say about that. So let's just get straight into the tier list, I think. And I think some other stuff. Yeah, I am gonna be counting Gigantamax Snorlax, Gigantamax Toxicity, and Gigantamax Melmetal as part of the base game. They were in there since the very beginning. They were they weren't part of the other like there's a fucking ad, god damn it. They weren't part of the they weren't part of the updates that that came with the DLC. So we're just gonna get straight into it. Without further ado, let's just begin. And honestly, we're gonna go in Pokédex order because that's how I have it here. And first up is the Dynamax Charizard. Also, before we begin, I will be going over specifically how I got appearance, not battle prowess. Unlike Monster Hunter, this isn't very combat based. So, Gigantamax Charizard is the, I guess, nepo baby of it. It's Charizard's third form, and to be honest, just appearance wise, sure, knocks down some points. It's Charizard's like fucking again third form. It was the only other starter to get Gigantamax form, and yeah, I think it knocks some points out, but it's still very good design. So I'm gonna put it in the A tier. That's just kind of where I think it is. It would have been S, but the thing is, I think it's just too much for Charizard. Gigantamax Butterfree is up next, and I think that this design is actually pretty good. I like what they try to do here and make it kind of like a Mothra-esque, and I do like it, but it's not like a great design, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Gigantamax Pikachu, I love the reference that they did here. I like how the Dynamax clouds go up to the tail. It's a good design. It's not it's not the best. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do forms first. So yeah, Galarian Meowth is a cool concept. What the fuck is that? It's a cool concept, but I'm okay with the design. It's not the I don't. It's not the best design. It's just an okay design for me. Gigantamax Meowth is in the same group there. I think the long cat meme is a pretty cool meme, but I don't know. I'm not exactly like all that. It's just an okay design. It's not bad. It's just kind of like okay. I'm not like I get it. I get the joke, but I'm not exactly all that thrilled about it. The Gigantamax Machamp is also a pretty good design. I like the orange. I like the bulging veins that Gigantamax Machamp has, and then that's very cool. So yeah, there's just very cool design, but it's not A tier. I don't think it's A tier. It's just good. It's just a good design. Galarian Ponyta I think is a really cute Pokemon, and I think like it does that. I think it does like it does it well. I think that's what they were going for with the design. It does that sort of cuteness factor well, and I think it deserves the A tier. I think it's just very good design overall. I like the colors on it, and yeah, no, Gagana fucking this Galarian Rapidash. I don't know. I think it's a Galarian. Yeah, Galarian Rapidash. God fucking damn it! You ruined everything. You could have been cool, but you weren't cool. You were not cool at all. You suck. We're going to be skipping over these guys straight to the Galarian Farfetch, and I think he is also a good design. I like the darker colors on him. I like the bigger leak. He has a bigger fighting type. I do kind of like that, so yeah. The Dynamax Gengar is, I think, a pretty great design. I like the big mouth, and I like the lore behind it. You just go in there, it's like the afterlife and stuff. I think that's very cool. And yeah, no, I think it's a very cool design, and it kind of reminds me of a Mega Gengar, without like the cool stuff, but like without the things that make Mega Gengar. But I think like it's a very good. It's still a good design. The Dynamax Kingler is just okay. It's just kind of Kingler with a beard, and it looks fine, I guess, but it's not very like, I don't know. It's not the best design out there, to be honest with you. Galarian Weezing is also okay. I like what they were going for here. It's just not what I particularly like. I like what they were going for with Galarian Weezing, but it's just not exactly the best design out there. This thing can go to hell. I don't like how Galarian Mr. Mime looks. I think he is one of the worst Galarian forms out there. It's just not particularly good. Gigantamax Lapras is pretty good. I like it. It's just good. This is a good design. Um, I like the Sonic. I like how it looks like a cruise ship, almost like that's I know that's what the leak meant out to be. Right, it looks like a ship and all that. I think that's very cool. Gigantamax TV is just okay. It's just Eevee with more fluff. There's not much in that way of actually being cool. That's just how I feel about it. It's just not exactly. Uh, it's not exactly the best. I love what Gigantamax Snorlax did with having. It's a great concept, and honestly, it's perfected beautifully in the design. I think it's just very cool having the Snorlax. I usually Snorlaxes like sleep in the on like routes. And he is the route. I think that's very cool. Very cool design to really cap it off here. Okay, next up is Galarian Corsola, and this is an S tier design. I love the inspiration behind this. I love the colors. Here I have about like the dead coral and all that. That's a very cool design inspiration. I think that it's just a great concept design and execution here. I think they made here with Galarian Corsola. I love this, and it's shiny. It doesn't change much, but what it does change is pretty cool. Okay, Galarian Zigzagoon is also S tier. I love how this guy looks. Again, I love how he's inspired by Kiss and all that. But again, just grand inspiration. It's just great overall. I think it's just great overall. Galarian Lanoon is it's a little lower. I don't like it as much. I think he does it less. He does it less so well. I think it's just because I don't know. I don't know. Like it's not as charming as it, but it's still a pretty. It's still great. It's still a great design. I think. All right, moving on to Galarian Darumaka and I think it's a good design. I think Darumaka is pretty good. It's just Darumaka, but like with like ice and stuff on it. I think it's just cool overall. No pun intended. Next up is Galarian Darmanitan, and if I had Send mode, it would be like up here in A tier, but it's currently just here in B tier because that's all I have. And I think it was like the abominable snowman stuff kind of cool, but aside from that, I don't know. It's just okay. It's just good design. Galarian Yamask, I think it's a great design. I like the rune and stuff that it has. I like the purple eye here. I think it's a great design for Galarian form. Gigantamax Garbodor. A lot of people don't like this design. I think it's not very liked, but I think that it does the Gigantamax thing good. I think it's a good design for a Gigantamax Garbodor. It has a lot of garbage on it. So yeah, I think that it's still very good. Next up is Galarian Stunfisk. And I don't like Stunfisk all that much. I like the inspiration we have here. But I don't like the colors all that much. It's green and like it's green and fucking gray. It's not a good color combination. I don't like Stunfisk all that much, so yes, it's going down there. And the final one for a form, so I almost choked to my own water there, is Gigantamax Melmetal. That's not Gigantamax Melmetal, that's Sweden's. Not one there. Gigantamax Garbodor Melmetal is I think it's an okay design. I'm not the genuine kind of biggest fan on it. It's just kind of flanky and stuff, and I don't know. I think it's fine, but I don't know. It's just fine. It's just okay. It's just an okay design. Okay, let's actually move on to the Pokemon. And Grookey is a good design. I like it. I like the colors on it. I think it does like the first stage cute as well here. But aside from that, it's not like exactly it's nothing special. I think. I don't think it's all that special. Flaky is not my favorite middle stage. I don't like it all that much. I think the muting of the colors doesn't look that good. It just isn't very impressive, to be genuinely honest with you. Rillaboom is good as well. I like the colors. I like this. It's darker, but it kind of just departs a lot from Thwackey. I like that it did that. I like that it departed itself from there because honestly, what Thwackey was doing wasn't working. Let me tell you that. All right, Score Bunny is also a good design. Sure, it's a bit lanky, but it gets what it was going for well, and I like it. Reboot is also a good design. I like the mask it has. I don't mind the dark colors on it as much as, for example, on like Flaky. I think it works a lot better. And Cinderace is an A-tier design. I think it's really good. Sure, it's very big, but like I think it's still designed well. Sobble, I also think it's B tier. I think again he does the thing well, and I like his personality and all that. With him like a sobby baby and all that. So yeah, I think it's cool, but aside from that, not much going on in there. Result sucks. He's not F tier. Actually, fucking is. He is F tier. I don't like Rizal that much. I don't like how big the departure of the colors are on it. It does not look anything like Inteleon or Sobble, and that's awful, and I do not like that. If these colors were shiny colors, I wouldn't mind as much, but since they aren't, and the color, the actual fucking design just kind of looks like this, it's genuinely not very good. I do not like it one bit. I do not like this one bit. So yeah, moving on to Inteleon. It's okay. I don't like how lanky it is. I really don't. I think it was a bit bulkier. Not like bulkier, but definitely like I guess a lot more like muscle on it. I think I would have liked Inteleon more, but aside from what it is, I think it's fine. Squovit is also fine. It's just a fucking squirrel that puts things in its mouth. I think it's good. Like a good, just fine. I don't put this on here so you can see S tier. I think it's just okay. It's a squirrel. Greedent, however, can suck my dick. I don't like Greedent. It's just a fat squirrel, and it doesn't look good. I don't like it at all. Rookie D, I think it's good. It just like the design well. I like the colors on it and all that. And Corvisquire, I think is also good. I think it's a good bridge between Rookie D and Corviknight. I think Corvisquire's name is pretty cool, and I do like his design and its colors and how it honestly looks. Just like a normal Corviknight, and Corviknight obviously is S tier. Corviknight is really cool. I love Corviknight. I think it's one of the best Pokemon on this in the generation, and I did use Corviknight on my team. I should also mention that I did use Rillaboom as my starter. So yeah, I have some. Even if Rillaboom is B tier, and I do think Cinderace is a better designed Pokemon, I did pick Rillaboom because I just like the Grookey more. And at the time, I did like Rillaboom over Cinderace. I kind of still do. But looking at it as a design, in general, I think Cinderace is better. But yeah, Corviknight is just an S tier design, and so is his Giganox form. If I did pick it up, there we go. Yeah, so it's his Giganox form. It's just better. Not better, but it's on par. It looks really cool. I love it shiny, like with it turning with like the rustic colors, having the yellow in there. That's really cool. Blipbug is C tier. I have a story of Blipbug actually. I hunted this thing for 2 years, like shiny hunted this thing for 2 years. It took me a while. And honestly, was it worth it? I did like my Orbeetle, but yeah. I did like my shiny Orbeetle, but aside from that, I don't. What the fuck? Get rid of these. Okay. Uh. So yeah, Big Bull's just kind of there. It's not very good, and also Dollar's also here. Same reason. It's just I like what they were going for with Dollar, but it's just okay. Orbeetle is B tier. I do like Orbeetle. I think it's a very cool concept having like the psychic patterns and all that with the ladybug stuff. I think it's very cool. I like how he's not like a very like he's a very mean ladybug. And Guyana's Orbeetle is A tier. I think it's a great design. Um, I think I think it's just a great design. The overall the UFO stuff and like again having the hypnotic stuff. I think there's a lot of concepts in there that do work quite well in design. Nickit, I think is okay, and so is Thievul. That's not where Thievul is supposed to go. Thievul, right there. It's just they're just thief foxes, and they look the part. I like that Thievul has this as like a mustache, and there's like a twirling evil that has like a mask and all that. But aside from that, they're just kind of fucking foxes. And honestly, they can stay in Galar, to be honest with you. Gossifleur. I like Gossifleur's colors. I'm gonna put in C tier. I was gonna put in C tier, but I like Gossifleur's colors a lot. Its shine is still very good. And Eldegoss, I think, is also B tier. It's just, it's just like there. Gossifleur's shiny is also very good. I think I have a lot. I still have these two as well. Because I actually hunted these for like a week, and that was like my longest hunted time for Blipbug decided to fuck me over. So yeah, Gossifleur and Eldegoss, they're good. Wooloo, a lot of people like Wooloo. A lot of people do. I think it's a good sheep design. I like what they're going for with the rolling stuff, and so is Dubwool. I think they're both B tier. There's good designs overall, and yeah, like there's good designs overall for like a sheep Pokemon. I like that they have like the rolling thing and all that. So yeah, I think I like them. Choodle, not as much. I don't like Choodle. It's just kind of there, and like it looks ugly, and it's not as worthy as fucking Dreadnought, which is an S tier design. I love Dreadnought. I know it's not the absolute best looking Pokemon here, but I did use it on my team, and I'm going to attach to it. And I love like I love it shiny. I haven't shiny hunted it yet, but I love it shiny. And like for Dynamax one, I'm gonna put it a little bit lower. Dynamax Dreadnought. Like, I do love Dreadnought, like design wise, I love this thing. But the Gigantamax form isn't exactly my favorite. Yamper's next, and he's not D tier, obviously. I think he's A tier. It's a great Corgi design. I love like the sort of electrical aspect to it, and yeah, I think it's very cool. And Bolton is an S tier design. I love Bolton so much. I know it's just a fucking dog, but like he's an electric dog, and I also use Bolton on my team. So yeah, they get sent down with the points when you see that three of my Pokemon here are an S tier. I love these guys. Roly-Coly is, I think, a good design. I think he's good. I like the one eye he has. I like the rolling stuff. I like Roly-Coly's design. I think it's very cool. Carcon can eat a dick. It sucks. I don't like its noise. It sounds exactly how its face looks, and I don't like that. It looks. I don't like how our Carcon looks like. And Colossal is better. It's still just B tier, but it's better than what it is. And Gigantamax Colossal, I think Gigantamax Colossal is okay. It's just Colossal bigger and has like a furnace stuff on it. I think it's just fine. Okay, this might be a bit confusing for all of you, but Applin is A tier. I love the concept of like the worm, like the worm, but like it's not like it's the dragon worm, not the not like an actual worm. It's like a dragon, all that. It's an apple. I love the actual thing there, the concept there. Flapple is just okay. It's just the kind of like a worst thing. I like what they're going for for Flapple, but it's just not as good as Appleton. It's just an okay design, but Appleton is much better. I like it a lot more. I think it's great. I think it's a really cool design to take Applin in. So yeah, and Gigantamax, Appleton. I said to just put them like together because they both have the same Gigantamax form, and it's just okay. It's just okay. Like it's fine. It doesn't. I don't think it looks a lot like Appleton, to be honest. But yeah, it's just okay, I guess. Silicobra, I think is B tier. Actually, I think he's I think he's C tier. He's okay. Silicobra's just okay. That's how it is. He's just okay. He's not anything special, but I like what he was going for here. I guess like he's just okay. He's just a snake. There's some like sand on it and stuff, and that's fine. I like what the Sandaconda a lot more. And so in the Gigantamax form, let me wait, hold on, is S tier. I love like the cool stuff and like the sandstorm here. I think it's cool that it's all curled up and stuff. I think that's a very cool design choice. So yeah. What's next? Cramorant. Okay, let me explain myself. I grew obsessed with this thing when this thing was coming out. This guy looks goofy as fuck, and I love him for it. He getting the Arcuda in its mouth and shooting it out with the Pikachu and all that stuff. I think it's also very cool. So yeah, and it looks good. Again, it looks goofy. I love it, and it's like in the Geo Bird shiny. Goddamn, this guy's awesome. Speaking of Arcuda, C tier is just a fish. And Barraskewda is B tier. I think he's a better fish. I like the underbite he has, just in the lower jaw. I think that's very cool, and I like the spinning stuff. But Barraskewda is just kind of fine. Totso. I don't like Totso. I don't like how it looks. I really don't. And so low amp toxicity is okay. High, I think this is like high amp or something. I think he's A tier. Actually, I think he's an S tier design. I love how I have low amp isn't as good. I don't like it. I don't like the blue on purple. I think the yellow on purple is a lot better. And I got my toxicity. I think it's just good. It's not great. It's just good design. But I don't really see like the. I don't like it as much, to be honest. Like it's just good. I like how they combine both, but it's just okay, I guess. I like fuck, what's this guy's name? It's something Pede, right? No, it's Centiskorch, Sizzlypede. I think it's a good design. I like the stone over furnace it has thing going on there. I think it's cool, but I think Centiskorch is just way better. It's just an S tier design overall here in Galar. He is really cool. I love like the fire things that come out of its face. That's very cool. I love that. And Gagama Centiskorch joins Sizzlypede. It's just a longer Centiskorch and it doesn't look as good as the original. I think the orange and the red kind of detracts from it. Like it's just like two colors, while the original has a lot more colors going on it. I think that's very cool. I think what the original has is much better than what the actual what Gigantamax did. What's next? Colourpus. I like Colourpus. I think he's very. I think he does its job well, being a cute octopus with like hands and stuff. I think I like the colors a lot on Clobbopus. I think it's just very cool. Graplocked. He's not an S tier design. I don't like him as much as like Toxicity or Scorch, but he's still a great design overall. I love like having like the tentacle on like a belt, having like, the forearms, like the four tentacles being like his arms and stuff, and like the colors on him being like yellow and blue, and it was like a mask and stuff. I think it's very cool. These two, I'm not the biggest fan of. They're just like I like the concept, but they're not doing it well enough. I don't think. I don't like Sinistea and Poltegeist all that much, to be honest. They're not my favorite. Hatena is also okay. So is this, and I don't have the biggest. All of these guys are okay. All of these guys are okay. I don't really find the appeal on this. There's okay designs on me. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the Hatena line. They're just okay designs overall. They don't do anything special for me. I don't like them as much. Imp is also okay. I think I like Morgrim a lot more. I know a person who loves Morgrim, but Morgrim is I think a great design. I like the just the bitch move it does with like false surrender. And like the stake on its hair, I think that's also very cool. I like its colors more than Impidimp. I think Impidimp is just okay, but fucking this guy is way up here. I think Grimmsnarl is one of the best designs of the generation overall and in the game. Really, I think that's just what I think of the guy. I think he's just a very good design. I love how like it evolves the colors and like the hair going all of it. I love that so much. Dynamax though, he's not as good. I don't like it. Again, I think I like what they were going for here, having like the hair completely enveloped Grimmsnarl, but I don't think it looks like as good as Morgrim or Grimmsnarl. Okay, where are we? Okay, evolutions. Obstagoon S tier. I used you'll see a pattern here. I use Obstagoon on my team, and I love this thing so much. I love like I know it's like stands up. I love like the cross arm thing, and like how it looks, and just having like the jacket, having like all this like grizzly fur and stuff. I think that's all very cool. But yeah. Berserker is good. I like Berserker. Do I like it? I don't know. No, it's okay. I like Berserker a little, but not too much. I think it's just okay. I think it's just like a big. Thing is, I just see him. I think he's just like a big Meowth, and he took away like a potential like Galarian, Persian, and I think he's just not as good of a design as like Persian for an evolution for Meowth. I do like what they were going for here, but I don't like Berserker all that much, to be honest. Cursula is S tier. I love that it's like a broken out. It's like all these different, like a fucking like sprouts, like branches and stuff. I think it's also very cool. And then being like so ghostly, not having the center. Fuck. And having the center there. I think that's very cool. Very cool. Surfetch is also S tier. I use this thing in my team. I love how like regal it looks, having the sword pull up there and the shield being part of like the top of the league. Very cool. I think it's a very cool design. I love Surfetched. Where were we? Mr. Rhyme. I know I said that Mr. Mime isn't my favorite design, but I actually do like Mr. Rhyme. I like what I was going for. I know people don't like the belly thing. I love how he's a tap dancer. I love how he looks. I like how he looks. I like how he looks. The cane, like the cane I made out of ice. I think it's also very cool. I like Mr. Rhyme. I do. I really do like Mr. Rhyme. Next up is what? Oh, Runerigus. Okay, Runerigus is an S tier design. I love how he looks. He's a big departure from what Cofagrigus is. and I think he works for it. I think this guy is a very, very good design. The thing is, he has a very weird evolution, and I don't know if people really want to go in there, but I think he's a very worthy design. And I love this guy for it. Milcery's okay. It's just a cream thing. He looks like a fucking ball of cum, and that's just this is what it is. This is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Just there. I do like Alcremia a little bit more. I like what they were going for here, and I love like the method of evolution, and having like the different treats and and different forms. Like this, I think that's one of the biggest form varieties of all time. I think this guy. I think it's really cool. I was gonna give Gigantamax Creamy an A tier, but I think it's just kind of B because it doesn't really do much in the sense of like it doesn't do much in like to actually it doesn't do much like to differentiate. It doesn't really do much to be different from any other forms. It doesn't change. It's kind of there, and that's fine. I think it's very expected, but yeah, I think it's just a good design. Phalanx is an A tier design. I love like the different how like different forms and how it forms like different different formations, and all. I think that's very cool. I love what this. I love what this guy does. Pincursion is okay. I'm not. Like, it's just okay. I guess it's just kind of there. I feel like they were trying to go for another Pikumuku with this design, and it's just a sea urchin. It's just an electric sea urchin. I like that the spikes light up. That's cool, but not much aside from that. Snom is good, and so is Frostmoth. I think they're good moth-like designs. I do like that, but aside from that, they're not really all that special. These guys are like the weakest fucking Pokemon in the entire game, so whatever. Stonejourner's F tier. Hate Stonejourner so much. I don't like Stonejourner. I think they wasted a Stone Edge Pokemon and made it the worst thing ever. I hate that it came back in Scarlet and Violet. It's just not it's just not what a Stone Edge Pokemon needed to be. Ice Cube is okay. I think it's just a fucking penguin with a ice. It's just an Ice Cube on it. I think it's just fine. Indeedee and its other form are also fine. I'm not the particular biggest fan of them. There's okay. Morpeko is also okay. I'm being really harsh on these guys, but I think they're just okay. They're not. It's a Pikachu clone, but I think it looks too close to Pikachu to really like make anything good. Especially coming after Togedemaru, I think that it's just not. I think it's just not. It's just not the best thing they could have come up with here. Cufant is good. I like what they were going for here, like the copper and having the copper, like the green part of the copper and all that. I think that's very cool. And Copper-Raja as well is an A tier design. I like Copper-Raja a lot. He's blocky, but I think it works a lot with what the design's going for. I think it's a good design. I think it's a great design overall. This guy, the Gigantamax Copper-Raja is just taking the block to like its logical extreme. I think it doesn't work as much. He's okay. He's not bad. It just doesn't work as much. Dracozolt is okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm not particularly big on the fossils, and I'm gonna say that. I think it says good. Arctozolt I think is good. I think it fits a lot more better than Dracozolt. Arctivish I think is the best looking one out of the bunch. If I can fucking move the guy. I think it's the best looking out of the bunch. It's not S tier, but I think it just looks the best. I like what they're going for here, like the tail just kind of being detached and making the neck. I think that works a lot better. And Dracovish is also just, I don't know, it's just okay, I guess. I don't know. It has that head down, but it just kind of looks kind of normal, honestly. Duraludon, I think, is a good design. I like what they're going for Duraludon here. I think it works. very not very good, but I think it works a lot. I think it just works. These are lighter, but that's fine. They were going for like Mechagodzilla, and I think they kind of worked. And the building aspect of the Dynamax one, the Dynamax form, I think is also cool. But I don't know, just meh. Like it's just kind of on par with Dryoudon. It doesn't really change much. Dreepy, I think, is a good design. I like what they're doing with Dreepy. I like the red on it. I like the searchlight, almost like the searchlight eyes, and their cloak. I think it's just on par. I think it's on par with what of Dreepy. It's not better, but Dragapult I think is an S tier design. I love Dragapult a lot. I think he's one of the better pseudo legendaries, and I think he's just really really good. And we're down to our last few Pokemon. These two are okay. I guess the Hero Many Battles form from these two are just fine. Also, I didn't put it in Tournamax here because it's not there's no like actual art for it, so I didn't just put it there. But yeah, these two are fine. Sashian is an A2 design. Again, it's just a dog with a sword, like sure, but I think it works a lot better than what Zamazenta ended up being. I think Zamazenta is B tier. I think this looks a little bit too goofy. I think this one looks a little bit cooler. And finally, Eternatus is I think also an A2 design. I liked how alien it looks. I thought it looked like it looks a lot alien. It's like a Digimon monster. That's what I think. Yeah, that is what it looks like. It looks alien, but I think it's not as good as the others. So yeah, this is my S tier. I can't fit it all here, but just scroll down through it. Scroll down through it. This is my list of Gen 8 of at least the base game Sword and Shield. So yeah, that is it. If I can find how to stop it, the recording, I'll figure it out later. Anyway, so yeah, to kind of just to wrap it up, I actually figured out. Okay, to wrap it up, oh god, 309 megabytes on this video. Goddamn, I'm gonna have to edit. It's 39 minutes long. Jesus Christ. To wrap it up, the game is okay. It's C tier. Okay, fine. It's a C tier game. It's not the best Pokemon game. It's just middle of the road. If you get what you pay for, you get Pokemon. It's not, you don't get much of it. It's just okay. And I don't think it's the best way they could have started the franchise. It's not the best way they could have started the franchise on Switch. So yeah, it's just kind of underwhelming for what they could have done, and it missed on a lot of stuff. But hey, the Pokemon were good, so yeah. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. So what did you guys think about Pokemon Sword and Shield? In the comments below. All of our socials are in the description. And yeah, no. That's about it. The next up, we'll be covering for Pokemon reviews. That'll be the expansion pass. So yeah, go look out for that when it comes out. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.